Today we're going to talk about breeding koi. So before we get to the question, I have another question from a viewer. His name is Jess Mackey, and he says, Eric, what's the meaning of the koi necklace and how can I get one? So he's talking about this necklace right here, if you've ever noticed it before. This is actually really special to me. I've had it about 5 years now. It's stainless steel, and it's like a paracord right here wrapped around it. And a good friend of mine is, he is a doctor, and he is really intense work, and when he comes home at night he like crafts metal, and he made this for me, and it's pretty much one of a kind. You won't be able to get it because he made it especially for me, and that's the meaning of it. So it is a very important necklace, piece of jewelry to me. So thanks for asking me that, Jess. But let's get to why I'm wearing this hat. This hat was sent to me. It's kind of warm in here right now, but it is fall as I'm filming this video. And I want to give a shout out to a guy named Jeff Franz from FP Promotions. Yeah, franzpromos.com. He sent me this stuff. He follows us on Twitter. He follows us on YouTube. And Jeff's a cool guy. He's been persistent trying to get me some promo stuff. And he said, Eric, we're going to make you some beanies. And so he sent me this beanie. It says made in the USA on it. And it's actually made in the USA. I pulled this tag right off. So good stuff to that. But let me answer Jeff's question, because that's really what the show is about. It's about breeding koi. And his question specifically is, when can I tell my koi are ready to spawn? Now, I will tell you, I came from a breeding fish background. I was breeding African cichlids before I got into koi fish and building ponds. So breeding is very cool to me, and I've thought a lot about breeding koi myself just for the fun of it. But Till now, I've just said, hey, I'm just going to leave it up to the specialists in Japan. But I do want to share my experiences with what I've gone through with breeding koi in the ponds that we take care of. And I think to continue on his question is, he says, how can I rear up some of the babies or the fryer? I'm not sure how he said it, but when can I tell they're ready to spawn, and how can I ensure that I raise some of the babies up? So I'll tell you, it's interesting because I know I don't have like a specific time where the koi are always spawning for us. We're in Southern California. Our climate is really warm, and well into September we have 100 degree weather. So the water temperature, I'm sure, has something to play with it. Coming out of spring certainly has something to play with it. I'm not sure where Jeff's located exactly, but I think he's in a colder climate. When the fish come out of hibernation, you want to be sure you're conditioning them with some good quality food and get them conditioned up. Well, of course, when they come out, you're going to be feeding them something with carbohydrates so they can process the food a lot faster as they're coming out and they're starting to eat. And then as soon as you've gone through that, then you would condition them onto some higher protein stuff to bulk the females up so they can go into spawn. I know, I'll tell you, in Southern California, I've seen the fish spawn at all different times, so I don't know if it's a specific time of the month or time or month, but I'll tell you, here in August, one of my good friends and clients, her name is Rushka, and she just got some fish, and she was quarantining them at her place, and they spawned in there, and it was the final week of August when she took the fish from someone's place. They were moving. She wanted to get rid of the fish. She put them in the quarantine pond at her home, and the fish spawned during that transition. So late August, I've seen it happen in spring. I've seen it happen pretty much all through the season for us in Southern California. And I'll tell you what I think is related to specifically when I do a remodel on a pond. If I'm taking apart an old pond, taking all the fish out, housing them. We usually fast the fish during that construction process. So we're usually doing it in the spring or in the fall. So this process is usually in the spring. So we take the fish out, we put them in the holding tank, they've been fasted, and then we put them to the new pond, we move them back in there, and so they don't have a lot of waste going on. But I'm telling you, when we do that, oftentimes I'll see the fish spawn right then when they get that new water. It triggers a spawn, and I think that's what happened with Rushka when she went and collected the fish from someone else's pond and put them in her quarantine tank with some fresh pond water. I'm telling you, the fish went crazy and they spawned in that new water. So I know that a lot of times people, if they have their fish in the pond and they're not doing routine water changes, the pheromone levels in the pond increase and they grow. And I think it triggers the fish to kind of slow down on their growth, slow down on spawning, things like that. And I think when they get into that new fresh water, it triggers that out and gets them to spawn. Now, I'll tell you, a lot of my clients, when the season comes, I have some clients that have males and females and they've never had a spawn, and I have some fish, some ponds that they spawn every single season. And usually what we recommend is you throw in a bunch of water hyacinth, you throw in a bunch of water lettuce, any of those floating plants, and when the fish are swimming around, they're egg scatterers. So the females are being chased by the males, and as the female's cruising around, she throws out her eggs, and then the male's following her, and he's pushing out his milt, and then so the egg scatters are just going all over the place, and they're kind of sticky. So if you've ever had them spawn in your pond, you probably will tell me, oh, I saw them stuck to my net or the brushes in my filters. You see them stuck to the plants. In Rushka's case, they were just laden on the side of the pond. They're just all stuck to the side of the pond. So the eggs are a little bit sticky, and so if you want to ensure that you can save some of those, you would throw a bunch of floating hyacinths in there. All the eggs are going to stick to the roots, and then what you can do is you can sweep in there with a bucket, and then you could take the floating plants out, and then you could put those plants in a kiddie pool or an aquarium or something like that, in a controlled environment where they're not going to have any predators. Now, if you have them in your pond and they've spawned, I'm telling you, the mosquito fish are going after them. The koi are going to be grazing on everything, and it's just they're opportunistic feeders, so they're going to eat all the eggs that are stuck all over the place. So I hope that answers your questions. I think maybe later on in life I might want to breed koi a little bit just for the fun of it, but like I said, I'm going to leave that up to the specialists in Japan, because when they do it, it's really crazy, because they'll take like one specific beautiful fish that, and then they'll take another female with the gene pool that they want to create kohaku or whatever, kohaku, showas, whatever, and then they'll actually induce the eggs to come out. They'll induce the milt, and they know that these two fish spawned. When it's in your pond, you might have several males chasing around the females, so you don't know what you're going to get. So breeding of koi is very cool, and because of my experience and background breeding African cichlids, I hold a great deal of respect to the people in Japan that do a really, really good job at it. So it's getting warm in here under the light with this beanie on. And Jeff says he wants to make me some beanies. I'm going to have to ask him. I really like this beanie. It feels good. I got to see if he can put a helix or a pond digger across the top of here. I'm going to have to give him a call and see if he can get them for us. So here's the question of the day for you. A, are you going to want a helix beanie if I go out and have Jeff make them for me? And more importantly, I want to know, have your koi ever spawned in your pond? And I want to hear your experiences, if they have, and how you raise the babies. And if your fish haven't spawned, I want to know what your theory is why they haven't. Okay, that's it for the show today. I'm Eric Triplett, the Pond Digger. Thanks for watching.